One of the things we need to talk about in the wake of the Donald Trump golf club incident, that he's trying to parlay into some political capital, now that he's way down in the polls, is this MAGA use of gaslighting and intimidation as the cornerstone of their more subtle uses of political violence. What do I mean by that? I mean, some of the MAGA political violence, like J6 or Trump spreading videos with Biden bound on the back of the truck tailgate, some of that is just blatantly obvious. Calls to action, stand by, Proud Boys. It's visible, it's easily seen. But some of the political violence, and a specific tack of political violence that Trump and company use that is less seen, is this idea of intimidating people into silence, intimidating people into backing off. We're seeing it all right now. Some real specific instances. I personally feel like the cornerstone of this was that Taylor Swift tweet, which is just deeply connected to the heart of this entire election. I think the Taylor Swift thing crosses a significant line because there are guardrails. Taylor Swift just recently had bomb threats at her concert. She is the most famous woman on the planet. And everywhere she goes, man, she has been targeted. So for him to publicly say, I hate this person, he posts deep fakes of her, making it look like she supports him, which we all know is a lie. But he does it and he thinks he's funny. And he's telling his 100 million followers that spreading deep fakes about people, if it benefits you, is okay. That's not okay for somebody who wants to be the leader of our country. That behavior is not okay. For him to go out and to pick a private citizen that has actually done something wonderful to get her fan base excited about voting, using her platform to get people registered. And how does he respond to it? He responds to it with an all caps screed of, I hate her. The president screaming, I hate her about a woman in America is just not okay. He wants to be president. And if you want to be president, you have to have a minimum level of acknowledging the responsibility that comes with carrying that job, which means not behaving like a misogynist, racist, asshole piece of shit, doing threatening things against private citizens just because your little ego gets a boo-boo because you're afraid you're going to lose a fucking election. Again, that was a real turning point. Now, as juvenile and almost goofy as it seems on the surface, this thing has a far-reaching impact because this is one of the cornerstones of Donald Trump's campaign, to use this type of not easily identifiable politically violent speech in order to create an environment of intimidation. When the guy up at the top screams out, I hate Taylor Swift, that makes her a target. And this kind of stuff has far-reaching effects. Right now, some of the biggest voices against Donald Trump are women journalists. And in particular, there was this incident that really struck me. This was NBC's Maggie Vespa. Now watch this guy. This guy is Nick Sortor. He's a right-wing cuck loser. But watch how he wants to attack her, because she, of course, talked about the violent rhetoric coming from Trump and how that's what leads to this political violence. And it's true. People who live and breathe and always use violent rhetoric, they end up being in the center of violence in some way, shape, or form. It's just how it goes. So she was calling out Trump when she was talking to Lester Holt. Now, this guy wants to go up and ask her about that. But watch his behavior, because as soon as he walks up, she's like clearly not wanting to talk to him, and she makes no comment and she walks away from him. But watch how he tries to get in front of her. If he had just followed behind her and yelled his shit like Laura Loomer does, I would have had no problem. You want to follow her around and yell at her like a fucking tweaker? That's fine. But the problem is he tries to get in front of her. And he tries to continually cut her off. He tries to physically impede her, very like what sexual predators do. If a guy's trying to like corral a woman and she's like, no, tries to get away from me, he keeps trying to get in front of her to stop her from walking away. And I have a real fucking problem with this behavior, because this shit is way out of line, bro. When a woman is silent and walks away from you, you fucking let her walk away. Now, what's ironic is the minute the big bodyguard gets in front of him and says, hey, man, get away from here, he starts crying like a little bitch with his squeaky little voice. But watch this. Again, this is the type of behavior that is happening from Trumpism. These guys that think they can start impeding women's boundaries and crossing lines of decorum in order to take power over them and demand something from them. And this is related to that Donald Trump, I hate Taylor Swift. All of this stuff is related. These guardrails getting knocked off so men and other people think they can start violating people's boundaries. It's just so out of line.
So, quick question for you, real quick. So, it seems like a lot of the questions that you were asking, it doesn't seem to like address the issue, the actual issues in the. Dude, don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me, bro. No. I'm just asking, like, you know, because there's an increase in crime in the area. It seems like there's a lot more of a problem here. The questions almost seem like you were trying to turn him into a victim. Do not touch me.
Back up.
Do not touch me.
Dude, back up.
Dude,
back up.
Do not
back up.
Yeah.
Dude, get the off of me now!
Yeah, you see that? Look at that! That fucking whiny little bitch. Right?
Ain't gotta be like that.
Dude.
You do not fucking touch me, okay?
Dude, yeah. Yeah, walk away, you fucking little fucking piece of shit.
Bro, right now.
Ain't what it gotta be.
Dude, but you see that shit? Oh, dude, I would have loved to have watched that guard roll his ass. But the funny thing is, did you see the way he was stalking around her, though? She was very clear that she was not talking to him, and then she walks away. But that move of getting in front of her and trying to impede her progress, it's a violation of personal space, bro. And again, that is the shit that abusive men do. Guys who hit women do that shit. Let's watch it again.
Dude, don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me, bro. No, I'm just asking, like, you know, because there's an increase in crime in the area. It seems like there's a lot more of a problem here. The questions almost seemed like you were trying to turn him into a victim. Do not touch me.
Back up.
Do not touch me.
Do not touch me. Dude, he's such a fucking bro.
Like you were trying to turn him into a victim. Do not touch me.
Back up.
Do not touch me.
Dude, back up.
Do
back up.
Do
back up.
Dude, get the off of me now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, when somebody gets up in your personal space, dude, it feels pretty threatening there, doesn't it, Nick Sortor? This is where Trumpism has these motherfuckers at, these right-wing influencers, where they think, oh, yeah, they can go around harassing women and shit. It is not okay, man. And we need to pay attention to this, guys. Men thinking they can violate women's personal space. Men thinking a guy like Trump can abuse a woman. And they're like, oh, that's fine. We're going to make him our leader. We're going to let him be in charge of enforcing the law. We need to put our feet down. Seriously. And then he's crying. She tried to have me arrested. Good. Dude, he should have gotten arrested. The cop should have cuffed him up and given him a 5-finger Sally for that. That shit is so out of line. And what's crazy about it, though, is he posts this video making it seem like he's the victim. Look at that. I personally confronted the NBC reporter, right, who is now on TV with Lester Holt, blaming President Trump for his own assassination attempt. And first off, yesterday wasn't an assassination. No bullets were fired. The guy didn't even see Trump. Was it somebody up to some no good? Yes, absolutely. But there was no assassination attempt that happened. And what's more, though, is Trump now supposedly they think he has 2 assassination attempts. And guess what? Trump is still running his mouth with violence. He was being violent with his language the other day. He's being violent with the way he talks to female reporters, the way he was talking violently about the Haitians when he was lying about animals and shit. I attempted to ask Maggie Vespa why she is pushing violent, divisive rhetoric. And again, no leftist clowns are trying to kill Trump. It's his own people. Dude, let's go. She's fucking putting up with some shit, bro. That behavior, though, guys, it's not okay. Now, the interesting thing is what actually provoked that series of events was this one small report.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
Lester, simply put, Springfield, Ohio has been inundated by threats. Over the last several days, closing government buildings, schools, hospitals. Today, effectively closing a local university campus after administrators said someone threatened a mass shooting targeting Haitians. This in light of, officials say, a false online conspiracy theory alleging Haitian immigrants in that city are eating people's pets, something local authorities stress there is no evidence of. Haitians telling us they fear for their lives. Many have been threatened. And this theory this week has been a talking point of former President Trump's campaign, including at Tuesday's debate. And earlier today, a source familiar told NBC News Trump is planning to visit Springfield, Ohio soon. Those plans, of course, now likely up in the air.
This is why that mom's basement incel Nick Sortor was so resentful. I cannot over-focus on the fact that these reporters, whether they're men or women, it doesn't matter who they are, but they have a right to go and do their job, and they have a right to decide not to talk to somebody, and that doesn't mean you impede their progress when they walk away from you. And this is to everybody in life. When somebody walks away from you, you let them go. But this was only the beginning. After the whole instance of him harassing her and just completely disregarding personal space and using tactics of intimidation, then he goes and plays the victim. And then his supporters go in for the attack. She posted a tweet about one of her pieces. And as you can see, look at these replies. 1,000 replies attacking her. Most of them are actually pretty harsh. Many of them are threatening. Many of them threaten violence. And one of them, like this, even though it veils it as some sort of cartoon, the message of it is really despicable, trying to equate all journalists as subhuman, deserving bullying. But this idea of dehumanizing vast swaths of people, this is what gets people killed. This is how politically violent speech works. Because it's not just about this guy who wants to install Project 2025, take away women's rights, crush gay and trans rights, deport 10 million immigrants, even the legal ones, denying the results of a fair and free election, and losing every court case, but still denying it, refusing to accept election results. It's this idea of dehumanizing a segment of the population, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the energizing of a group, the energizing of the Proud Boys, the energizing of the Twitter following that engage in these mass actions of intimidation. And again, Donald Trump finds himself at the center of real violence because he spends so much time enabling his endorsement of that political violence. What encourages violence in his supporters that eventually, when they become disillusioned, when they're no longer angry at the women or the gays or the immigrants, and they become angry at him, the powder keg explodes. Trump is not advocating for all Americans. We know this. He's not advocating for Haitian immigrants. He's not advocating for women. He's not advocating for Muslims. He's not advocating for gay people. He's not advocating for trans people. He's not advocating for blue governors. He's not advocating for the mayors of blue cities. He's not advocating for Democrats. He calls them all communists or Marxists or demons or evil. He says that the threat is coming from inside the house, but he's not talking about a specific person. He's talking about all of us that aren't MAGA. Dude, that shit is dangerous, bro. It is, man. Now, what I wonder is how many more attempts at making himself look like he got assassinated is he going to try? This guy, he's like, ooh, political violence happened to me. I can make money off this. I might get elected because of this. This is going to make me popular. He is distorted. Dude, he is. He is up, bro. That says a lot about this man. This man uses political violence for his own gain. He does. No more. We're not putting him back in the presidency, dude.